like and subscribe. Now, let's get straight to it. Affirmative action. Affirmative action is a part of reparations for damages done to African Americans. It is to level the unequal playing field. It is something that black people fought for and should not have been given to Asians, Latinos, and other ethnicities. This was a court decision. It was a court decision designed to repair the damages done to black people, specifically after the Civil War. In the 1920s, black people owned 400 banks. We had two Black Wall Street. One was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the other was in New York. After the one in Tulsa was bombed and the 400 banks were taken, the only thing left remaining was Wall Street, which whites took over. This series of events of the destruction of black banks existed between black banks, cities, and towns took place between 1920 to the 1930s. And when these black financial institutions were destroyed, it led to what? It led to the recession and the depression of the 1930s. You see, during the roaring 20s of the 1920s, that was caused by black people and the selling of penny stocks by black banks to normal blue-collar workers, black and white. And they celebrated it, and that celebration was the cause of the roaring 20s. You see, people had money. Poor people had money. Middle-class people had money because they could invest in the creation of black inventors, because black inventors could not get money from white banks. And it was these black inventions that created Black Wall Street and made these black banks profitable beyond that of white banks. And these investments is what was used to build black cities and towns and allowed black people to have the money necessary to do what? Drill for oil. All of this was taken from us. We didn't need reparations. Is not something that we have ever needed. What we needed was affirmative action to even the playing field, and then the coffee will rise to the top. The cream will rise to the top. I don't even know why I use that. In fact, the coffee works better when there's no cream in it, because all cream does is dilute it and makes it weaker. And what I'm saying, and by that I mean that black people we don't need reparations. We need affirmative action, and take the drugs that you put in our communities, take them back out, and we'll get it ourselves. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You leave him alone and let him fish. Stop cutting his line, and he will support himself. I'm older than a lot of the black pundits on that you hear online. Understand this. What I am telling you, I've read a lot of this, but I've also lived through a lot of this. And when I'm talking about living through, black people do not need white liberals helping us to do anything. We need them to leave us alone and let us do our thing. We don't need the Republican Party. We don't need the Democratic Party. We need affirmative action. Why? To give us back what you took from us in the between 1920 and 1930 when you destroyed our cities and towns and buried them under lakes. It was a governmental attack on black people. I want to address something else. And see, I'm bringing this up because I want to address this Think Uyghur, this guy on TYT. I stopped listening to TYT when Anna started supporting this feminist movement and gay rights, homosexuality. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, I come with receipts. Now, let's talk about reparations again. It's supposed to hurt. It is supposed to hurt Caucasians. It is supposed to hurt them the same way they hurt African American Hebrew Israelites in the 1920s. And when they hurt African Americans, Hebrew Israelites, they also hurt themselves. Because black people were not racist. We sold stock to white people. We made quality products that white businesses purchased. You ever heard the name the Real McCoy? That was the oil pump invented by a black man named McCoy. It was the best oil pump out there. And when white people would go to buy an oil pump and the salesman tried to sell them something produced by a white person, which was inferior, they would say, no, I want the Real McCoy. I come with receipts. Let me repeat this again. Black people, if we would have been given affirmative action, which we fought for, and we would not need reparations now. If we would have been given affirmative action and not have drugs put in our community, we wouldn't be asking you for reparations. We would be selling you superior products. China would not lead the United States in technology if affirmative action had not been suspended and drugs put in our neighborhood. Because only thing Chinese have done is improves on what black people created. They simply improves on what was created by black people. Black people, African American, Hebrew Israelites, we invented the internet. We invented the cell phone. We invented the engines. Engines would not work without an oil pump. And who knew that better than the people who created the oil pump? See, what I'm trying to do is enlighten Hebrew Israelites and black content creators who are speaking out against Think Uyghur for his condemnation of affirmative action. See, understand, this is not, affirmative action is not a philosophical conversation. It is not a it's not a philosophical conversation. It is about justice. It is about justice. It is about returning order to humanity by undoing the damage that was done. Give us affirmative action. Give us money to go to schools and re-educate ourselves, and you can keep your reparations. We don't need reparations. We don't need to fish. We just need to be left alone so that we can fish on our own. We don't even need you to teach us to fish. We taught you. We created civilization. History has been so confounded and whitewashed over to where it is hard to dig up the truth. Hard. But the one thing about the truth is that it is unstoppable. The truth is the substantial reality underlining knowledge. Truth is a necessity for knowledge. And the denial of truth creates ignorant people, and this is why Donald Trump is president. He did nothing for people when he was first in office. He tried to get rid of Obamacare, but they changed the name to Affordable Care Act, and now MAGA Republicans want to get rid of Obamacare and keep the Affordable Care Act, not realizing that they're the same thing. They're the same thing. You see, and even though Obama was a sellout, you hated him, but he gave you health insurance. Understand this. Hillary Clinton couldn't do it. When Bill Clinton was president, Hillary couldn't do it. But I'm not going to beleaguer the point. I just want to say one thing. Affirmative action is the reparations that will allow the black minds to take over the world. You see, we are Homo sapiens. Caucasians are Neanderthals. And the last thing I want to say is this. Mexicans, Latinos, you did not build the United States. You came over here in World War I to pick fruit and vegetables because young white men were drafted and going off to war. Then some of you snuck and stayed. And the same thing repeated itself in World War II. You came over here, you were allowed to come over here on temporary visas and pick fruits and vegetables. And after World War II, young white men didn't want to go back to the farm. They wanted to go and work in the cities and make more money. So you were allowed to stay here and pick fruits and vegetables. And eventually, with the help of Cesar Chavez, you were able to start to unionize and make a little bit more money. But you didn't build America. Stop that lie. You didn't build America. Benjamin Banneker, a black man, designed Washington, D.C., and then black slaves and black freedmen built Washington, D.C. And going back to the 1920s, black people is the substantial reality that built America. America gets its swag from black people. You don't see Caucasians standing in line to ask for the autographs and take pictures with Latinos. Black people came here as slaves, and we even had a black man to become president. He was a sellout, but we had a black president. We had black Supreme Court judges. And I say this to say that when this 2025 thing come up, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. And no black person should be worried about it because we got this. Trust me, we got this. See, the most dangerous thing you can do is push a Hebrew Israelite back against the wall. Now, if you want to push my back against the wall, go ahead. Because I want you to do it. Because it's going to bring black people together. Pushing black people's backs against the wall will bring us together. See, sellouts only sell out when they think they can get something out of it. But once they realize that they can't get anything out of it, then they will be forced to reunite. Like, subscribe. Talk to you later.